What's up, everybody? Hello. A very rich, very famous man who rubbed a lot of people the wrong way has suicided himself in a Spanish prison. He's Epsteined himself in a Spanish prison. Thank you guys for joining me. Please take a second to hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. John McAfee, who you might know his name. You might know his name because he is the creator, the founder of one of the largest antivirus softwares in your computer. You've probably seen the little McAfee badge. It's a brand name. So, you know, multi-millionaire, possibly billionaire, not sure, but hugely rich, has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, libertarian, ran for the Libertarian nomination for president in 2016 and 2020. Didn't get it either time. Big Bitcoin supporter. Famously said that that Bitcoin would get to $500,000 in the next like 5 or 10 years. And if it didn't, he would eat his dick, which is, you know, that's quite a bet there. That's quite a promise. So McAfee was arrested in Spain for tax evasion. And by all accounts, I think it's quite evident that he probably was evading his taxes. I mean, he's jumped around the world, behaving rather strangely some of the time. But anyway, that's kind of a side point. And Spain announced that they were going to extradite him. The decision just came down within the past few days that they were going to extradite him to the U.S. to answer to tax evasion. And now the news today is that he has either been killed or has killed himself. This is from, let's see if you can see that. That's from Reuters. John McAfee found, what the fuck? John McAfee found dead in prison after Spanish court allows extradition. So somehow these people, very rich people that have rubbed people the wrong way, and let me be clear, Epstein, absolutely rapist, sex trafficker, one of the most horrible human beings that's ever lived. But he also had a lot of dirt on a lot of other very powerful people. So he is a villain who had dirt on other villains. And somehow he died in prison in New York. I covered it before that the autopsy showed that several of the bones in his neck that were broken rarely break during hanging. They break when someone is strangled to death. And it seems very likely that even when they break during hanging, it's like one of those violent hangings that you see in like the Old West movies that you see on fucking, like some Walking Dead shit. Like you see like, or Deadwood shit where they like hang them and they like fall 10 feet and their neck pops off. Like some crazy shit. That's when those bones break, not when someone hangs themselves in a prison where basically the only way to do it is if you have access to a shoelace, which Epstein did not. You like lean forward against a pipe, and it's very different than when you're dropped off a fucking platform. And so the odds that those bones would break in his neck during a prison self-hanging are, in my medical opinion, but also the opinion of many others, kind of ridiculous. So that's Epstein. And in this case, you have John McAfee, who's very rich and has gone against the ruling elite in many ways. And I don't know all of them. I don't know his private life. I'm not saying he's a good guy, all right? I think he was pretty villainous too. I don't know that he was as bad as Epstein, but very few are. However, how is it that these very rich celebrity fucking prisoners always seem to be able to kill themselves when they're supposedly being watched in prison? And supposedly, if it's like any prison here in the U.S. have had their Tony. Yes, I am a doctor. I went to medical school for I believe it was 1,700 years. It was a long medical school. No, I went to medical school for 1 week, which is also the amount of time that the guy went to medical school who came up with blood splatter analysis that proves that someone has killed someone. And he claimed that he was a doctor who understood exactly how to analyze blood splatter. So yeah, you don't really have to. I mean, you don't really have to go to school. You can just say you're a doctor. It's a lot more fun that way. Anyway, so how is it that all of these incredibly rich, incredibly controversial celebrities who get locked up end up being able to kill themselves? All right, I won't say all these, but at least we got two here that have happened recently, are somehow able to kill themselves, even when it's likely that all their shoelaces, anything sharp, they got like a fucking paper gown, yet somehow they're all able to hang themselves and break bones that only break when you're hanged from a large height. Very odd. Anyway, can't prove anything yet, but just know that John McAfee, no longer. So who knows what the fuck happened to him. But there's a lot of other weird shit in his life, so maybe he's not above taking his own life in this situation. A lot of other weird things have happened to him. There were claims that he murdered his neighbor down in some Latin American country, wherever he was living. I think he was kicked out of Nicaragua or Guatemala or something. He did some very weird shit. So, not, as with Epstein, not a normal existence for either of these guys. But it wouldn't surprise me, considering McAfee's abilities with computers. Obviously, it wouldn't surprise me if he had shit on tons of people that he could also easily blackmail. When you are, I mean, his software's in everybody's computers, or a lot of them. So you're telling me he doesn't probably have access to a lot of shit he probably shouldn't? Anyway. So there's that. I just found out about that right before coming on the air here. So I did not know I was going to be talking about any suicidings. And Dave points out that McAfee said the government was trying to kill him. But Dave, he also offered to eat his own cock if Bitcoin didn't go to $500,000. So, he was saying some interesting, unusual things. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. You can get these often. I do them many days a week, except sometimes at leecamp.com. So just check leecamp.com in the morning if you want to see what's new there. I also have the podcast Common Censored and Government Secrets. Government Secrets is pretty evergreen. So, you can go back, listen to the whole catalog. We do a lot of different topics of the U.S. government and what's been covered up over the years. I think you're going to like it. I think you should probably start with the JFK 3-parter, because that's a good one. No, they didn't cover anything up with JFK, did they? I don't think so. That'd be ridiculous. But yeah, you can donate on Venmo at Lee Camp. All of those donations go to people who are struggling. And if you want to support this show or the podcast, that's at liberapay.com/Lee Camp. LIBERAPAY.com/Lee Camp. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And keep fighting.